Hey scrappy friends, Helen here, welcome back to my channel. I am using DLS Design XOXO 2.0, which I think was February last year's collection. I've been all inspired by Vicky Bouton's journal, art journal series, and I've done a line study. I've done it on 12 by 12 watercolour paper, so I'll show you that process, and then using that on a for a layout. I'm halfway through recording the actual video of the layout at the moment, and I'm not loving it. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But before we get to the scrapping and show you what I've done and where we're up to, if you're not already a subscriber, please think about hitting that subscribe button. And if you enjoy the video, please give it a thumbs up, a like, and let me know in the comments what you've enjoyed. And you're not sure what to say, just pop an emoji for the sake of engagement. Watercolouring today, so let's see what arty painty emojis there are for you to pop on. That out of the way, let's get scrapping. Okay, so here we have my entire collection of tubes of watercolour. All the other watercolours I own are solid that you add water to reactivate. I'm just going to put some colours out on this palette. This palette's actually a plate that somehow I've ended up with from a hotel I stayed at. So I've obviously accidentally picked it up with everything that's on my desk at some point. It'd be from a scrapping retreat, I think. So just popping a little blob of each colour. I'm going to try and mix colours that go with the papers that I've chosen. So I'm just mixing this green and blue together to try and make. I'm going to bring the dots in, puffy dots in from the collection to check. I've put water down first of all for this first strip, and I'm just floating the paint into the water. So I like to know what I'm talking to about there, don't I, with floating? I don't, I'm just playing. I mix the colour a little bit more, and then I'm adding a couple of layers, couple of different shades onto that layer, and then a little bit more green to bring, you know, a little bit greener over on my next stripe, and then pop a bit of yellow in. I'm going to try and gradually go across the colours going this way. Unfortunately, I don't keep the colours for coming back the other way, and things get a bit mucky, but it's fine, I'm happy with it. I'll just pop a little bit more of that like brighter green in the first strip, and then we're going full on yellow. This strip I'm pushing the pen down, making it wider, brush down, making it wider, lifting it back up for a little bit narrower, and then I'm trying to make the orange that's there on the enamel dots. Yeah, just putting a little bit of gap between the green so they don't intermingle, and doing a couple of strips with that. Add a little bit of red in, and then I'm gonna go full on red for the next one, I think. But yeah, I just, I decided after the first one, so I'm not going to do that flowing technique. I'm just going to go, onto dry paper, a little bit more controlled, which with my hand-eye coordination isn't at all very controlled. Big blob at the top, don't worry about that. I just won't use that end of the paper. And then coming back to the yellow, try and get the greens at the other end, and it just all starts going horribly wrong. But that's fine, it's a bit of abstract art at the end of the day. So that's the painting done. This is what we have. Really happy with it. What we're going to do now is mark making. So I've got my micron pens. I'll get the 8 and the 5 out. And I've got a Sharpie. I've got a white gel pen. I'm not sure if that still works. And I've got Vicky Bouton paint markers, and there's a white and a black in this as well. Haven't opened these yet. Or have opened them, I've just not used them, I should say. So white and black. Actually, let's pull the gold out as well. So I don't think I've primed these yet. No, I haven't, look. So you give them a shake, and then you just you're pushing the nib in for the paint to come down the nib. So we're just going to let that fill up. Give them a shake. I mean, I don't have like Posca pens. I've never had anything like that. Oh, I've already used the white. There we go. Look, the white's already primed. And I expect the gold will need a oh, I've used the gold as well. Gold will need a really good shake. So I'm going to do some mark making. I've not got a clue. This is the bit that really I find quite daunting. I am, do you know what, now I'm going to use the 5, not the 8. These are Micron, Pigma Micron. I have also got the black Unipin fine liner. I actually thought I bought black and I didn't. I bought black, dark grey, but I really like that as well. But I'm going for the black today, the Micron. I'm going to outline these white bits in this one. So with the mark making, I start by going around the gaps in that narrower strip and then just doing lines randomly along the side-ish of the narrow strips too. With this one, I'm going around the different shades in colour, where the colour changes. I'm chatting away there. So yeah, I'm just going around where the colour changes just to give a little bit of interest on that section. I'm then going to do the mark making in and around those sections that I've outlined. I really don't have a clue what I'm doing. I am just randomly marking in the hope that it looks okay. Got the black paint pen here. I'm doing long dashes on that one. I think I do that on another one, or even longer dashes on that one. And then move back to the Micron pen where I'm doing some little arches. Oh no, chevrons. I'm doing chevrons. So I go all the way in the little white sections on this yellow one with the chevrons. And I'm thinking about what I'm going to be doing up in the next one as well. I'm going to leave it with some music for a bit whilst I do this mark making. So I've changed pen colour. Got the white paint pen there just for a bit of interest, and I think that's a gold as well. So now, because I've added white to 2 and the gold to 1, I've now got to find other places to dot some gold about. Oh, I've got white on 2 actually. I've used the gel pen as well. But yeah, just adding some more of the white and the gold pen paint about, just to even things around. So I've not picked my collection, my papers yet, but I know I'm using this collection. That's why I use these colours and try to mix kind of like a this colour here. So I am going to be tearing this in half with pattern paper coming from the bottom. Oh, how about that? Yeah, okay, we're going to use that. We're going to stop when we see the first one we want. Some of these papers I absolutely adore, and I'm so sad it's an older collection because I really need to go and have a look and see if it's still available. So I'm going to trim the top off, which is why I didn't get too precious about the lines at the top going too high. Let me trim that off. That's that. I don't know if watercolour paper goes in recycling or general waste, I'm not sure. Okay, so that's that cut off. And then we are going to, this feels really sad ripping this because I love it. I absolutely love it. Let's go, let's just do it. And we're just going to rip it like this. I'm probably going to mount this all on a white piece of 12 by 12 and then tear a piece of this a lot and put that along the top edge. But what I do want to do is translucent gesso here to do some inking, or to add, basically try and mix these colours again. I've still got a bit on my palette that I might be able to still reactivate. It might go horribly wrong, but I'm just thinking about bringing these colours down, do some just like packaging technique with some of these colours on the background. So I'm going to need to gesso. So I'm going to grab the translucent gesso and do that. Okay, I just use a really big paintbrush when I'm doing gesso, and then go and wash it straight away. I was going to say we might not be doing this till Mark gets home and can open that for me, but we're okay, we're in. Problem is, it gets all gummed up if I forget to clean the rim properly. Or when I do things like that. So, translucent gesso does need a bit of a mix, it does split. There we go. And it looks white, it dries clear, so I'm just going to paint this on. And then leave it to dry while I go and decide what photos. So the photos are from, I know the event I'm using the photos from. It's Mr. Ding and I, because the boys were on holiday with their parents and grandparents in Florida. So I didn't have them here. Didn't have my sister and her grandkids here to do our weekly meet-up this week. So Mr. Ding and I went to Wales. It's the 9th anniversary of losing my mum. And we used to go to Anglesey as kids, and I feel quite close to her in Anglesey. And my dad. It was 20 years for my dad in July. So I feel quite close to them in Anglesey because my uncle lived in Anglesey when we were kids. And we used to have our summer holidays in Anglesey. So, yeah, my husband wanted to go to our favourite seafood restaurant. I don't eat seafood. Which happens to be on Anglesey.
So yeah, we had day in Anglesey. So the photos are from that, and they're quite bright because the sun was out. And then they've got the beach, so you've got sand, and I thought goes quite well with these yellows. So that's why I've chosen this collection. But yeah, so we're going to leave the gesso to dry while I print the photos, and then I'll be back.
Okay, so trying to mix the colours again to put some mixed media on the background where I have gessoed to bring those paint colours down and sort of marry the watercolour piece together with the background paper. Oh my gosh, I go back into so much with this colour. Completely forgot about the fact if I just add more colour, more water, I'd get what I'm looking for. Um, so at this point, I'm like, oh, let's put some more water in. Oh yeah, that's what I want. Um, so yeah, I use packaging technique to begin with, and then just end up painting it on with the brush to get the shape I want. I also paint along the bottom of the watercolor paper as well. So it's like the paint is coming out of the paper onto the background, but it's just such a different color. I'm really not happy. I struggle so much with this layout. Um, I do actually completely change, not completely, but going a different way with this background piece later on, which you'll see. But yeah, just doing for the time being some mixed media on the background to try and marry the two pieces together. I just, from the minute I tore the paper, regretted it. I should have kept it as one big piece. You know, so happy with that background, with that watercolour background. I should have stuck with my original convictions and sorry, not gone with my original idea, which was to do what I'm doing now. I should have just stuck with that whole piece. And I think I will. It's something I'll revisit again where I create a 12 by 12 background piece like this and just stick with it, which I've done in the past when I've painted a background piece. I just completely stuck with it. So I'm here still trying to do the painting and you'll see the finished um, result.
Okay, really quick so I can stick it together for the cat stands on it. I've tore that off there, and then I've got adhesive here. I'm going to line it up on my mat. And I'm going to get this completely not right. Oh, that looks about right. Straight either side there. I'm going to stick it down. So there we go. Another 12 by 12 piece. Yeah, I'm going to build it from there. I've got these photos of Mr. Ding and I at Triada Bay. And then I've got these pictures of the beach. I'm not sure what I'm doing from here. I'll be back on.
Looking at this now, I think if I did the finished design and the way I've embellished and layered and everything, which you'll see at the end, with this side of the pattern paper, I think actually I would have been happy, but I was just struggling so much with it. So you'll see me now trying a few different things to try and you know, bring that watercolor background down and make it all marry up and make sense. I try punching lots and lots of circles of the watercolor paper. I think there's a strip of it at some point. But yeah, I'm just trying lots of things to try and get it all to marry up and make sense. These circles, I think I end up only using that one semicircle in the end. And you'll see in a minute, I actually flip the paper over and I completely abandon that mixed media piece. But yeah, I think if I kept this side with how I finished the page, I think I would have been happy. So you don't rush to change your mind. Get all your embellishing and your layers down first, I would say. But I think it's because I was so unhappy I couldn't see past this. I'm just bringing another pattern paper in now. It's got a lot more white, thinking that's what the problem is, that I need more white in to, you know, fit with the white background, the stark white background of that watercolour paper, and I do like that as an extra layer. I think it's a good choice, but it doesn't really satisfy my need to do something very different with this. Well, not very different, but different enough. I do end up with the two photos that tucked up at the top. That ends up in that cluster at the bottom. So these get moved, and I'm really happy with where that ends. I end up only using one. There we go, of the beach photos in the cluster at the bottom. Really happy with that. That photo, that cluster stays there. It just gets added to. Yeah, I think I should have, if I started matting the photo and doing my other layers at this point, I probably would have stuck with here, but you'll see very shortly now that this all gets pulled up and I flip the pattern paper. There we go. Use something with more of a white background because I think, you know what, that's going to go better with the pattern, with the fact that it's very white background on my watercolour paper. Trimming down a piece of cardstock now to make it 12 by 12. This is basil, so it had a bronzing strip on it. I think it was marshmallow. So trimmed that down, trimmed the brandy strip off, and then just stuck these layers on top of that with the reverse side of the paper I had done the mixed media on. And then I start building from here. To be honest, I'm happier now looking at the photos at the end and looking at this on screen than I was when I last looked at this layout in real life. Do you ever get that? I just really struggle with the layout. I just, yeah, I might re-scrap this photo, but to be honest, looking at this now, I am much happier with it than I was at the time. But let's persevere. I marked the photos on this orange piece. I think this is from this, I think is a 6x4 pocket card. And then I've got a piece from the matching floral piece from the 6x8 paper pad to add to this cluster at the bottom. Really happy with that. And I'm just like, you know, stop being indecisive, Helen. Let's get stuff stuck down. So that's what I'm doing here. So get this cluster stuck down, and then I think some 3D foam on the back of the photo. Oh yeah, the back. So the top of the photo, so it's the bottom stuck to the cluster and the top's up off the page with that photo at the bottom. And then the main photo I do put on 3D foam and lift that up. I'm just looking for a journaling card now, and I decide actually it's going to go in the bottom corner, but so that the you know, the framing's right on it across the page. It's not like blocking it off. I do turn it the other way with the pattern on the right hand side of the card, because I felt with the pattern on the left hand side of the card, it sort of blocked the flow of the page. So this is a tub of random stuff from Hey Little Magpie and Bramble Fox I have on my desk. So I've got some Hey Little Magpie Flare. These are the Bramble Fox crocheted hearts. And then I've got a JD 3D print from Hey Little Magpie title piece that I've used there, which becomes the title for the page. So yeah, pop that back away, and then we get the embellishments from the collection out. So I do add some floral embellishments and some tickets. This is a frame with florals around it. So I cut the frame in two, and then I layer the florals from it up around the back there. And I put some under the foam and then some on like directly with the picture, with the foam sandwiching the two halves of that floral frame, so that there's some dimension, and then tucked that crochet heart in between. Just adding some floral pieces to the bottom cluster as well, and then this ticket gets this ticket added in both clusters. I do cut it up. You've got a bit without a word sticking off there, and I do actually end up using the other bit that I've just thrown back in the tub. That ends up in that cluster to the left of the photo. There we go. So just popping that in there. Watching this video back to do the editing, I'm getting worried because I start sticking everything down, and that heart at the top of the photo, I don't remember sticking it down. But I do see later on that I did. Just trying out some tags and that next to the photo. Decide, you know what's enough there, so put that away. And then I've got another tray of like smaller bitty bits on my desk. Oh yeah, just getting this cluster at the bottom stuck down. But yeah, smaller bitty bits from Hey Little Magpie and Bramble Fox on my desk as well in one of the JD 3D print embellishment trays. Try again with them circles, and it's like, no, this is just not happening. So these are bits and pieces from Hey Little Magpie that I'm popping on little fabric flowers that I love. I'm just going to scatter these about, and then there's also the suede pieces that got like little smileys on them, little emojis. So pop them on as well. I do think about these Bramble Fox arrows, but I do end up not adding them on. And I think all that's left to do now is I pop some of these enamel dots about. I think I choose the colours that I'd mixed paints for. And then I do actually stick the crochet flower down at the top. So nearly done. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Take care. Bye bye.